Hello and welcome to this edition of Saturday Chat with me, Base Guy 35. Again, I'll probably open up some cards. Last time it kept me relaxed. No rants or anything. Just talk about some subjects, some things this week, some things I didn't touch on Sunday. Um, and other things. So, I mean, the gift that keeps on giving is the goodbye speech from Brandon. I think his name was. I'm sorry, I blank sometimes, and I it's very disrespectful. But this is not so much for him. It's just other people, still responding. His response to the responses, and then Andy, the retired, I believe, FBI, which I have had discussion with online through Carlos's channel last Chicago show I was with. So I've never met him personally. Mr. Wesker Griff has, and he thinks highly of him. And what I gather from him, he's just another guy. Now, can he be a little bit of a smart ass? Yes, and he'll tell you that. I mean, he pretty much portrayed that in his video, trying to stir the pot, a little Carlos style. So I'm sure Carlos approved. I watched some of Carlos last night, but while doing other things, and then ended up going to bed. But I can't do 4 hours, so I don't know if they covered it or not. But hopefully that is behind us, and that is it. I really do hope, lessons learned or lost or whatever. I'm glad you don't go out quietly. Went out, and if people don't like your reasonings, let it be. It just stirs the pot, unless you want to come back, and that's what you're coming back on, because you saw 1.5 and people gave you thumbs ups and subbed. Ironically, I guess is what the term was used. Then come back. But you can do whatever you want, man. Yeah, and if you do, I'll check you out. See what you got going on there. If you're getting 200 viewers per video, that's damn good. So you're doing something right. So there you have it. And then so that's it on that. That's all I gotta say on that. And then the other little bombshell this week in our part of our community, if you do grading and group grading, especially if you deal with SGC, you probably know Bobbles and Baller Cards. He dropped a little bombshell this week. He's got a pretty big community that grades. So he has stopped doing, at the moment, bulk submissions. And I want to go through my thoughts on this. Anyway, I've been kind of staying quiet on the SGC front, other than the fact that I thought they're going to be switching to PSA sooner or later. It's been a year. So, and they're going, I think they're doing away with their bulk specials. Who I do my bulks through, it's also affecting him. So it looks like it's going to be more in line with PSA pricing when you go and look at what their new pricing is going to be. And what I don't think it has much to do with retail or these huge ones, or they can do without it. I just think they're going to just do away with SGC. What they're trying to do is get it to a PSA level, get you used to those numbers and times, and then it's easier to go over. And if you grade with them, not to grade with PSA, they're going to be okay with that too. They got such a large share of the market. And if you go to Beckett or CGC, it just doesn't matter to them. I think them just not having SGC is going to save them enough money that saving the money will make up that loss, if you want to call it a loss, on the bottom line, and merging everything together and having one plastic, one flip. having all the grading the same, everybody on the same page. And now we all know that they already open up shop down there. So, or they're open and breaking ground. So until they break ground, they could probably use those offices until they get what they want. Um, I don't know how soon that would be. I think they'll do it a little bit longer just to get people used to the prices. The first time I noticed it was when the time started getting a little longer. Now they're not as long as PSA or other ones. I'm still waiting on CGC. That's supposed to be 35 days, and we're probably past that now. And I have something to say on CGC in a moment that really makes me happy. So they, with they extending the times without extending the time, letting people wait longer than 30 days or whatever they're doing, 35, and letting people sweat a little bit. So they're falling between their time and the PSA time, still sooner than the PSA time. But I think it's just got people are so, we're, Pavlov's dog, sheep, whatever you want to call it. And then if they put the prices, they're going to say, well, you're still doing that. It's the same at PSA. And I know some friends, and they might do videos, so I won't say who it is. They're thinking that SGC will do a special or a PSA will do a special crossover. I don't think they will. I don't see where that need is even there. People now respect SGC. It's going to take a generation for anybody to realize that SGC is not there. It's not the same as like a lesser, somebody that does their stuff in the basement. SGC is a well-known commodity still in the world. Yes, well, maybe their prices. Yeah, people that are real sticklers are having one type of flip in their cards. I've always said if SGC just had the regular size or the same size as everybody else's, or everybody else had the same size as them, I would like them a lot more. We all fell in love with the pricing and the quick turnaround. And when that went away, the quick turnaround is what was the difference maker in pricing a little bit. But the quick turnaround was the difference maker. And if you could be first to market, you could sell your cards. But people just paid a little bit up and just did. If they wanted to sell something that was a little bit more expensive, they could still do it on PSA. Because all those cards jump in the front line. I've said it before. PSA takes care of non-porous first, then the porous come last. That's the way the world works. And I send my stuff. I just send another 5 cards this week to PSA. As much as I talk shit about them, I still like getting graded. Not so much PSA, but just graded. And also, having one card to pay for all of them when I sell them, just because it's a PSA. I still like the registry. I buy cards for the registry when I buy graded PSA cards. But if it's not a registry card, I don't give a shit what the flip says. I like the card. Now, CGC, I got an email yesterday saying for bulk submissions from now on, I do not have to put in each card separately. I just tell them how many I have, the price, how much they all add up to, and that's it. And send them in. So I guess they're saying like they're probably having somebody that makes sure that's what the cards are. So if they're doing that, they might as well. And they probably got a scan machine that automatically tells them, shoot, they might be searching it on eBay that pulls it up. Who knows? I mean, there's so many scanning. There's, Ludex and a couple other companies now where you can scan cards and all the information comes up. So, it might be all in one, and it might be the first person that grades it does it on that machine too. So who knows? But I wish companies were a little bit more clear when they come out with that. They didn't really say. And I went to their website to get a little bit more information. Really wasn't much. But yeah, so bulk and value submissions, both of those uh, are doing that. So that's awesome. I think still there's 2 countries where they take cards. It doesn't do it yet, but it pretty much tells me it's probably a computer, software that's doing that. So that was pretty cool. For somebody like me that's continuing to do CGC, uh, you know, that's cool. And CGC right now needs to, with what's going on with PSA and SGC, there are going to be people that's going to say non-PSA, right? They can see what's going on. SGC raising their prices, not having bulk. This is the time for CGC to flourish. And also, Bible said they're not going to be as shows anymore. The SGC, that's another big, huge red flag. Huge. I mean, I seen a video where a guy's running through a field with this big ass red flag. I wish I had that right now because that is huge if that is true. And Bobbles has been right 99.9% when it comes to this type of stuff. He gets very good information from his guy there. So this is all big news this week for the grading, for people that like to grade. I have fallen off some. I still love the registry. I know on some cards, it's just better to get them graded to sell, to get most out of them. And if they don't, get the grade I need, then it's a coin flip, and it is what it is. So, but I'm glad that I have somewhere like GameStop, which I think 23 is still a little expensive, or whatever I said it was, 22, 23. I do 5 cards. And it's $5 flat shipping to them and back. So that's, huge. That's huge. So, there you have it for that. And I just think they're trying to funnel people from SGC to PSA. That's all I'm thinking. So I've already seen the SGC numbers from Mint. I know they haven't really gone down, but they're not huge. So I'm just thinking what business they don't get, they're not worried about. They have so much. I mean, millions every month. I mean, I don't think they're worried about a few thousand, even 100,000. Even though that's good money, that would probably put a strain on their business and not pay off in the long run. They might worry about losing business because their times are taking or whatever, or having to buy more whatever it doesn't balance out. At one point, you got to sit there and go, as a business, what's good. Let me open this up real quick. I forgot all about opening cards, running my mouth. Love the hobby, talking about this stuff, especially grading. A lot of people are, against grading. I'm not 100% for it, against it, whatever. It's a necessity of the hobby. I have fell into it. That if I have addiction, that's where it's at. But I think it's healthy for me. I look for the best deals, and I don't stretch my funds. Like I said, I'm doing about every other week when I get paid. And if I needed that money for something else, I just won't do it. I did work holiday weekend on this check. I got a very good check. So, it's a big deal. And so that's where I'm at with that. I feel like, Series 2 came out this week. We got our blacks, black borders. I just, oh, cool. That doesn't put juices in. I like them. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't even miss them in Series 1. I'm more of a base card guy anyway, and if it's one of my PCs, then I start trying to get all of them or a big rookie. That's about it. That's where I'm at with that. So on a series two, um, I haven't really looked at the rookies yet to see. I know Acuna for the Mets is a good one. Um, I haven't really looked at any of the other ones yet. I know there's more like gold cups, which I pulled here. Um, in this second one, it seems like I didn't really see many in the first one. Uh, so interested in a couple of different inserts. Nice. I see, they're really doing special things with the hobby. Some hollow base card, and only in retail, and also only holiday cards in retail. I'm looking for them to do something for July 4th. They do have tins. I saw tins today. So if you're a Judge, I only saw Judge and Altuve. I think that's the only two that I saw today. Altuve, I question, is he still a hobby darling? I find that hard to believe why he's on there. But it is what it is. So they got to put somebody on there. You can't put the same four all the time, or can you? But if they're smart to get Caitlin Clark thrown out of first pitch somewhere, put her on the 10, they'll sell out of them in 5 seconds. But so the last thing I want to talk about before I get too long-winded on this Saturday chat is our president, in his mind, Mr. Mangini, great guy, did a video which I thought was very good, had a very good topic, and took a couple of topics. The first one was quantity versus quality. And I've always questioned that myself. Like, do I want to get more of this one or this one? But then as a PC guy for a couple of different guys, I want all of them. All of them to me are quality, right? I love each and every one of them. Yeah, I pay more if we just define quality by the price, but most of the time, and I'll get to the, I want to bring this all back around at the end, even with the first stuff I talked about. Quality, is quality and quantity could mean the same or the difference. And quantity means difference to somebody else. Having 10 cards is different than one card. She blinded me refractors, Andy, our buddy Andy. He doesn't have a huge collection to me, but to him, it might be huge. Somebody else, it might not be. It's all on what you have and defining it. And Mangini talked about that and and pretty much said the same thing. And I wanted to touch on that because I've had the same thoughts. We use too many of these words that have these definitions, and they're very broad, and it's a personal thing when you're talking about it. When you're thinking about it, that's where that's where it's at. And that's the last thing he said. Put it down below or do a video on oddball. Well, I didn't feel like filling out making my doctorate on oddball, so I want to make a video. So here you go, Mr. Mangini. I looked it up. So I'm sitting here at Merriam-Webster. So oddball is either in their eye adjective or a noun. An adjective is talking about one that is eccentric. So it's a personal thing. And then an oddball and a noun is the person that's eccentric, right? How to describe, it's not a descriptive. It's that person is, an oddball character or something like that. Like they're playing an oddball character. I was reading the definition. So that's the two things as Merriam-Webster. I'm not smart, man. So please bear with me. But when it comes to collecting, again, you named off a whole bunch of cards, and pretty much none of them were eyeballs to me. The only one that was close was the Kellogg's 3D. And the only reason why is because you had to get them out of cereal, or you had to save enough box tops to send in to get the set. It was several different ways to get it, but it was with the cereal, right? And to some people, that's just not a normal card. Now, when you're talking about tops and all of that, and Bowman, they've not been around forever. Neither is Fleer, Don. We can go on a Pinnacle, whatever. But something that's just out of the norm, like in a little bit eccentric to me, not to you. Now, it might not be eyeball to you, but it is to me. So when it's a descriptive of the card, it's a personal descriptive. It's not one that might be shared by others. And that's all I had to say on that. And that's the way our hobby is. I'm coming right back around to the beginning. So our man wanted to get out for reasons. That's his reasons. That might not be your reasons. Why, while we stay in, not in the house, we have two hobbies, card hobby and YouTube hobby, right? And YouTube wasn't fun for him anymore. Whatever it was. And he might come back, he might not. Whatever he does, I hope he enjoys whatever he's doing. And this takes time, and some people take more time than others. Me, I just talk and edit my countdown at the beginning, and whatever after see ya. I take that off. It takes me 5 minutes, and I throw it up on YouTube. It takes longer to upload it on YouTube than it does for me to do any editing. Only time I add to editing is if I have an issue in when I'm doing the production. So that is because I like raw videos. I like people off the cuff. I was one of the people when Victor was reading a script all the time, he seemed more tight. But when he came and just had his bullet points and talked freely, it was a different Victor. He was good before, but he's better now. And so speaking of him, hopefully I'll have him on. I invited him this week, but I forgot it was Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to everyone out there. I hope you end it with my show tomorrow night, and we'll have fun, and all of that. But that's my reasoning for oddball, and really any personal terms. Like a lot in our hobby, this is a personal hobby. When I've said it before, time and time again. When you say the hobby's dead, when somebody says the hobby's dead, money's not flowing on eBay, whatever, that's a personal thing. That's a personal thing. That's it. And and other people might hold that same idea, but it's still a personal thing that could be held by any other people. That's what it is. And when we use terms like oddball, quantity, quality, hobby's dead, there's a downturn, it's just so much of it's personal. And but it's nice to hear people's opinions. Great to give opinions, but just know when you give your opinion and you come on YouTube, people are going to say things that you might always not want to hear. And and you just got to be thick enough to either roll with it, or if you want to fight back, that's entertaining for the rest of us. So until tomorrow night, I don't know who I'll really have on. Pretty much going to be, if you want to come on, let me know. Open topic night. We'll touch on some more of these things. I've done, words have meanings before. But that's all I'm going to have to say on that. So until tomorrow night, like, share, tell a friend. I didn't even get through the first pack. Did get an Acuna rookie card though after buying one yesterday. It's just that's the way it goes. I'm okay with that. Now, better double chance to get a 10. So until next time, see ya.